Good morning, students. Good morning. In previous classes, we learnt various topics in organisms and population. That is chapter 13 in your NCERT book. Today, chapter 13, organisms and population lesson. In this, population interaction, a new title. What is meant by population? A group of similar individual, a group of similar species combined together to form one group, that is population. For example, Homo sapiens population is nothing but human population. Felis domestica population, nothing but cat population. Mangifera indica population, that is nothing but mango population. So, group of similar individual, group of similar species, one particular species are survive in a particular habitat. The group is known as population. In between the groups, for example, between population, for example, between human population to cat population, some interaction is there. Between human population to Mangifera indica, mango population, some interaction is there. Between two species, two different species also some interaction, because we dependent on rice plant for their food. So, human beings, that is Homo sapiens, which dependent on Oryza sativa. The Oryza sativa population and human population, some interactions are present because we get food from the Oryza sativa, rice. So, between two species, between two population, some interactions are there. In environment, single individual is not present. So, single individual without any involvement of, without any interaction between different organisms compulsorily is not possible. Example, human beings compulsory dependent on some organisms for their food. Even plants also dependent on some organism for food. So, plant only preparing their own food. So, how the plant is dependent on other organisms? Because plants also need microorganism for minerals recycling. So, plants need minerals, that is inorganic nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, zinc, boron. Various minerals are important for their growth, metabolism and all biochemical activities in the cell. So, plants also need some microorganisms. The microorganisms also in population. For example, group of rhizobium is actually a population of rhizobium. Group of acetobacter is a population of acetobacter. Group of nostoc is a population of nostoc. So, plants also need some population, some dependent on some population or some organisms for their growth, survival, reproduction. Even plants also need insects for pollination. Plants also need animals for pollination. So, without the animal population, plant is not disperse their seeds, not disperse their pollen grain. So, plants also need another organisms for their survival. For human beings, for example, human beings need plants for their food survival, for their food, for their oxygen. So, human population is dependent on plant population and particularly various type of population. Various plants for their food, various plants for their survival, various plants for their wood. So, we depend on various products like forest products for their survival, for their habitat building. So, every single individual is dependent on other organisms for their survival. So, plant species also need some microorganisms and plants also need other organisms for their pollination. Okay. So, single species can't live in isolation in the environment, in the natural habitat. The single species is not present in isolated manner. Compulsorily, the population, one group of population is dependent on other group of population for their survival, for their getting energy, for their getting oxygen, for their getting carbon dioxide, for their getting various processes, various substances, microbes, inorganic substances, organic substances. So every species which depend on other species for their survival. So every species which interact with other population, other species. So every population which interact with other population. So the title is interaction, population interactions. Okay. Then we learn various population interactions between different species in this title. So one species which get benefited to another species and the population interaction is mutualism. For example, in mutualism, one species get benefited and another species also get benefited. Here is not a minus, it is actually plus. Okay. So two species get benefited from one another mean the topic or the interaction, the type of interaction means mutualism. Okay. Two species get benefited. For example, in this mutualism category, we learned lichen. Lichen is an organism which mutually relationship between algae and fungi. A mutual relationship between algae and fungi to forms a lichen. So algae which prepare their food and given to fungi. Fungi absorb nutrients and minerals from the soil and given to the algae. So algae perform some to the fungi and fungi also give something to the algae. So in two organisms mutually interact and get benefited from each other. The type of reaction is actually mutualism. Species A also get benefited, species B also get benefited. This type of interaction is nothing but mutualism. Here is a plus signs for normal beneficial interaction, minus sign for detrimental interaction. Suppose a negative, for example, one organism get negative interaction between the one organism mean that is a minus. A plus means both organisms get benefited means we give plus sign for this topic. Then mutualism. I give a one by one in afterwards elaborated way with the examples. I give a small idea first. For next one is competition. Between two organisms, competition may occur. One organisms get more benefited, another organism get also more benefited. So in between two species, only negative interactions are present. So that is a competition. I give an example also. Competition between two different species also takes place. Two different unrelated species also takes place. Okay. Then and predation. Predation means one organism species A, the one organism get benefited, another organism get detrimental interaction. For example, predators. For example, what we think it is predator. Predator means nothing but lion and deer. So deer is a prey and tiger is a predator. So tiger get benefit from the deer and deer get minus. So in our body also some parasites are present like a plasmodium. Plasmodium is a malarial parasite. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium malariae. So 4 variety of species of Plasmodium are present which is causing a malaria. In this malarial parasite Plasmodium is entered into our body and get benefited. So Plasmodium protozoan get benefited, but our cells get minus because there are some reactions, some diseases, some symptoms may occur. So some organisms get benefited and some organisms get minus, mean that is interaction is actually predation. Predation is a lion and deer as example. And then parasitism also same interaction. I give an example for parasitism like malarial is actually parasites. What does it mean? Predation and parasitism means same benefit only, but predators which kill the prey species But in parasitism, in the parasites only absorb the nutrients and cause some diseases. It's not suddenly kill the species. If I immediately kill the species and obtain the nutrients, means that is predation, and slowly it gets nutrition from the host. Host means the organism giving food. For example, malarial parasite. Malaria is a parasite, and the example Plasmodium. Our body is a host. From the host, the malarial parasite get nutrition slowly. After some times, it get some diseases also. So, predation and parasitism, I give elaborate idea in the future, the next class. Next one is commensalism. Commensalism means nothing but one organism get benefited, one organism neither get benefited nor detrimental. So, neutral interaction. So, if in this commensalism, I give an example. You see that in a village, normally cow or maybe buffalo are moving in the grassland area, and nearby the cow and buffalo some birds are present. The bird name is egret, ladybird, egret. That actually the bird is actually like a white color, like a duck, dove like bird. It is near to the particular cow. While moving, cow slowly spread or slowly move the particular insects like grasshopper in the particular grassland. Then the grasshopper moves means, as fly means, immediately the birds get the particular food, that like grasshopper. So, for this interaction, cow is not get any benefit. Only the cow get neutral relationship, but the bird, the cattle egret, the bird is cattle egret, get benefited. So, the bird get benefited because only in the while moving to the cow, it get food. It easily identify the food, easily identify the prey like insects. But in cow and buffalo is no benefit, only zero, neutral benefit. So, this type of interaction is known as commensalism. In another one category, amensalism. Amensalism means one organism get minus and another organism get neutral. For example, penicillium fungi produce penicillin. Penicillium fungi means Penicillium notatum and Penicillium chrysogenum fungi produce penicillin. For the production of penicillin, penicillium not get any benefit. Penicillium fungi does not get any benefit. Penicillium fungi with zero neutral relation. But due to this antibiotic, some other microbes get harmed. Normally we know antibiotics kills the other microbes. So, one organism like microorganisms get minus and the penicillium does not get any benefit, plus and actually minus also. Not get any benefits, that is neutral. It is an example for amensalism. Okay, in a population interactions between two different species, some interactions are present. In the interaction type, according to the interaction type, some interactions are present like mutualism, competition, predation, and parasitism, and commensalism and amensalism. These are all the interaction between two different species. I give a one by one elaborate idea. This is actually important questions for your board exam. If any two or any three for your 2 marks or maybe 3 marks may ask. In a population interaction, the first one is predation. Predation means what? One organism kills the other organisms and then eat the particular organisms, and one organism get benefited plus and another one organism get negative interaction. For example, in predation, one organism get benefited, that is predator, and another one organism, that is prey get detrimental interaction. So, one organism get benefited, another one organism get a negative interaction, means the type of interaction, the type of population interaction is said to be predation. Okay. So in this predation, the predation is a natural way of transferring to the higher trophic level. So without predators, how the energy is transferred to the higher trophic level? So we know that an ecosystem consists of various levels. For example, producer on trophic level, primary consumer another on trophic level and second trophic level, and secondary consumer third trophic level, and tertiary consumer is fourth trophic level, and maybe quaternary consumers also present. So in a general food chain, producer only producing the food, so it gives energy and food to the all other consumers. So predators actually eats the prey. For example, lion is a predator which eats deer. So deer is actually a prey. So from the energy from deer to lion slowly transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. Even grass eating buffalo, grass eating ox also is not a another category, is actually a predator. For example, a predator cow which gets the food from the grass. So after killing the grass, it eats. So is actually the cow and grass interaction also a predator and prey species interaction. Also is example for predation. But in ecological constructs is a different phenomenon, like producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, and herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, that is different context. But in this category is a cow also is actually a predator, because it kills the insects, it kills the grass and then eat. So one organism which get benefited, for example cow get benefited and the grass get minus, grass get negative impact because it died. So predation is example. Normally generally we know predators means lion, deer, tiger, deer. So it's actually the frog, insects, snake, frog. This is actually generally we know that is a predator and the prey species. Even plants also are predator as compared to the other organisms. For example, generally we know the deer eating tiger is a predator. In seed eating sparrow, a bird also a predator, but in different constructs different use பண்ணுவோம். But predator just imagine பண்ணலாம். And they keep the prey species under control. For example, imagine the situation. The frog population is slowly decreased. Automatically what will happen? The insect population slowly increase. So after increasing a full level of insects, the insects among the insects not get any apparent food materials. Between two competition between the insects population, among the insects population. So automatically the insects population also slowly reduced due to interspecific competition. Okay. So normally we imagine, suppose we are frog is a predator for the insects. Suppose we kill the frog means actually predator is slowly increasing. Imagine பண்ணுவோம். But is not actually correct. After some times, due to some competition, interspecific competition, grass population and the insect population also slowly reduced. I will give an example also. A prickly pear cactus was introduced in Australia in 1920s. Prickly pear is actually a type of cactus which produces different flowers, and for the attraction color of flowers and attraction of and the stem, flattened stem, for the attraction, the prickly pear cactus is introduced in Australia in 1920s. But afterwards it is spread through easily on other way of air dispersal. It is produced more in every area in the Australia. So, Australian government affects how to control the prickly pear. So, after discussion within the imported country, the prickly pear eater, that is actually an insect, prickly pear feeding predator, this is actually insects, a moth, a type of insect, again introduced into the particular Australia, then the moth eats the majority of the prickly pear. So, automatically prickly pear is under the control and the cactus under the control in Australia. So, because we introduce a new species into the particular area, for example, the cactus is not a new species in the particular, if Australia cactus 0 in before 1920, so particularly prickly pear cactus 1920 is absent, but the new species are introduced into the particular area. In Australia, new cactus species, that is prickly pear, first time introduced. Actually, the cactus is exotic species. Exotic species means the variety is introduced in a particular place first time between any other country or any other place, mean that is exotic species. For example, broiler is actually introduced in India, that is broiler is exotic species. Normal indigenous variety like indigenous chicken, country chicken, it is actually Indian variety. So, after introducing the exotic species, the Indian variety, the natural breed and natural variety slowly decreased. So, after introducing to the cactus into the Australia, automatically natural varieties some reduced. And after introducing the cactus feeding predator only, we control the cactus plant in Australia. So, it is given one example for predation. And American Pacific coast and the starfish disaster is actually one variety of starfish present in intertidal area of American starfish. The American Pacific coast contain one type of starfish, that is intertidal starfish present in intertidal area. So, starfish only eats some variety of invertebrates. Some scientists thinking, so invertebrates are reduced due to the starfish, because starfish eats a variety of invertebrates, small organisms. So, we removing the starfish from the particular environment, automatically the invertebrates actually slowly grow and multiply, think but it is actually after the result it is wrong. We remove artificially in the particular area, starfish la remove pantom, then afterwards after some years automatically 10 invertebrate species totally destroyed. So, இங்க என்ன think பண்ணா, we starfish remove பண்ணா, so இதுக்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கிற all the invertebrates flourish, நல்லா develop ஆகுறாங்க, but it is actually not true, it is result is opposite. So, variety of invertebrates are died due to interspecific competition. Interspecific competition means between two species competition occurs. Due to this, some species only developed, some species are extinct, endangered and become extinct. Now, one thing pannalam, for example, deer population is reduced due to tiger population. So, in imagine if you remove all the tiger population from the particular area, means நம்ம think பண்ணலாம் deer is survive more and grow and multiply and reproduce more tigers or more deers, means is not actually true. First, initially the deer population is increased because no predator, then a deer or a tiger is absent. So, in absence of predator, first initially the deer population is increased, but deer population increase again other herbivores also, because more grass is available. So, deer also eats grass, other animals like other herbivores also eat grass. So, due to this competition, deer population slowly decrease, because other species also may flourish like herbivore and eats more grass, then other species also flourish and develop automatically deer population is slowly decreasing after some several years. So, if you think for example, in a food chain, producers is more and primary consumers is less as compared to the producer. Secondary consumer is less as compared to the primary consumer, and tertiary consumer is less as compared to the primary consumers. So, according to this graph, the producers is more as compared to the all the things, all the consumers. This is actually the balanced food chain. So, if we manage the food chain imbalanced, we remove any one species from the one particular trophic level, means total ecosystem, total ecological balance be affected. Okay, this is actually example for the predation. Okay, so in predation enna solrana, predators is important for the prey species control. So, predators is removed means, normally we thinking predators remove panta, prey population is more, is increasingly more. It is not actually true. So, prey also after some time slowly decreasing and decreased even further, slowly decrease. Okay. So, human population is increased because human or separate predators absent. So, predators is not available for the human population. So, predator, in the absence of predator, human population is increased. Why the mosquito population is increased? The mosquito population is increased due to the absence of frog and dragonfly, because dragonfly and frog only eats the mosquitoes larvae and insects. Frog is decreased due to water scarcity, and dragonfly also decreased due to water scarcity. But without the prey, automatically insects population slowly increasing. Okay, it is actually a predation. Predation is nothing but one organism get benefited, another one organism get negative interaction. Okay. So, next one, predators and some interaction between, some examples of predation. Predation means what? One organism get benefited in a population and another one organism means another one species gets detrimental interaction. A positive and negative interaction between two population is known as predation, or the organism is predator. So, if a predator is too efficient to overexploit its prey, normally predator is more strong as compared to the prey. For example, lion is more strong as compared to the deer. A cow is more strong as compared to the grass, and sparrow is more strong as compared to the seed. So, predator is normally more strong as compared to the prey species, but prey species also evolve some mechanism, produce a morphological, anatomical and chemical defense. It's avoiding from the prey or from the predator. So, from escaping from the predator, prey also show some morphological and anatomical structural modification, that is adaptation. So, how the prey is adapt? Preventing from the predator. Predator also extinct due to lack of food. Actually, if a predator is more, okay, but it absorbs the prey species on particular time, after some years, the prey population is slowly decreased, means predator also died due to the lack of food. So, predator is actually natural predant. Predator is actually controlling the population. So, normally why mosquito population nowadays is increasing? Because mosquito is an insect which predated by the frog and dragonfly. So, nowadays frog and dragonfly population is reduced. So, without the predator, automatically the prey population, what? Mosquito is slowly increasing. So after some time, the lack of food is maybe decreasing. As the second thing. So prey population is increasing due to the absence of predator population. So it's actually predator is controlling the population. Why the snake population is under the control? Because due to eagle. Eagle, it eats the snake, so a snake under the control. Why the grass population is under the control? Due to herbivores. So various population is under the control means due to next trophic level organism like predator. Okay, prey species also some various difference. So it from escaping from the predator, prey also has some have all defense mechanism. So prey also evolve some defense mechanism. So to avoid from the predator, to escape from the predator. Some insects and some frogs, we know the variety of insects is actually colored insect. Grasshopper which color? Grasshopper actually green in color. Why grasshopper green in color? Because grasshopper is eaten by frog. So frog is normally eats the grasshopper, but in a grasshopper eats grass. So grasshopper also changed morphologically like green color to avoid from the predator, to escape from the predator frog. Frog also, some frog is green in color because the frog eaten by a snake. Snake while searching the food, the frog become a green in color means it is actually like a leaf color. It is escaped from the snake. So from the escaping from the predator, insects and frog and other organism also camouflaged. Camouflaged means cryptically colored. They change their color like a chameleon. Chameleon is actually due to the situation it change, but in frog and other insects permanently change. So we know variety of insects looking like leaf insects, variety of insects looking like a stick, brown color, leaf insects. A variety of grasshopper also brown in color because green grass is green grasshopper is escaped from the frog, but in brown grass, the damaged grasshopper is brown color, it is easily escaped from the predator frog. So from escaping from the predator, prey also has some morphologically changed, that is cryptically colored, this is camouflaged. And some insects from escaped from the birds. Normally birds also eats insects. So the insects are poisonous, change their body, become poisonous and distasteful. Is actually one example, monarch butterfly is actually a type of butterfly. It is highly distasteful from the predator. So generally from birth actually is tasteful. The insect are tasteful, the butterfly are tasteful, but during development it eats some poisonous weed or poisonous weed, soft. It's become changed into distasteful. The distasteful prey is not eaten by the birds. Normally insects are sometimes we have some insects move into the mouth. It is actually distasteful. In our house, some insects are present like green color, small insects in the normal rainy season. The insect is actually, the smell is actually a wax smell. It is distasteful and smellful for the prey population. So same in some insects, according for the adaptation from escaping from the predator, it is become distasteful. An example is monarch butterfly. Herbivores also predators. Herbivores eats plants. So herbivores also predator because plants is actually animal, like a deer eats only plants. So it kill the plants and absorb the plants. So from this, from the escaping from the predator, the plants also show some morphological adaptation. Some morphological adaptation means nothing but like acacia and cactus like plants, it is forms this spine like the thorn like structures in the cactus, that is actually a spine, is a modified leaf. It is the spine is a morphological changes, adaptation to avoid from the enemy, to avoid. Normally camel eats the cactus, so from escaping from the predator camel, the cactus forms a spine like structure, that is actually one adaptation, but escaping from the predator. And this is actually a morphological difference. Some organisms, like we know that Calotropis plant is nothing but the Erkansadi in Tamil, that is Erkansadi, is actually producing a white milk like structure. In some abandoned land present in the waste land, the waste land present. Then Calotropis, the seeds are dispersed through air like white hairs under the small seed dispersed. That is, seed is nothing but this seeds belongs to Calotropis. Calotropis gigantea, Calotropis procera, so variety of Calotropis are present. The Calotropis is actually a plant. So இது நிறைய animals சாப்பிட்ற like herbivorous animals. So from escaping from the herbivore predator, the Calotropis contains some white color liquid. The liquid contains cardiac glycosides. Cardiac glycosides means it is a poison which leaves the insects, means it affects the heart and it suppresses the movement of heart. So it is highly poisonous. So only we never ever seen a herbivore eats the Calotropis plant. நீ ஏற்கனவே சரி ஏதாவது அனிமல் சாப்பிட மாதிரி இருக்கான்னு பார்த்துக்க. No, it is not possible. It is a animal also. No, there is actually a Calotropis plant. It contains some Calotropis glycosides, cardiac glycosides. Weeds means that the heart problem may occur. So we avoid the particular plant. So the plant also shows some modification, escaping from the predator. Okay, then some plants produce nicotine and caffeine and quinine, this is as a synchronatory, and strachysine and opium. So variety of eucalyptus oil is actually secondary metabolites, chemicals, secondary metabolites. These chemicals, it is important for the particular plant avoided by the particular predator. So actually the predator is easily eat as a particular plant for the taste. Suppose these plants have some chemicals, the chemical smell is not interested by the particular predator, so the predator is avoiding these type of plants. So the prey also show some modifications, show some adaptations, morphological, maybe anatomical adaptations, maybe chemical adaptation, physiological adaptation to avoid from the predator. Okay, so that is actually a predation. Predation is nothing but a type of interaction between two population. It is one population get benefited, another one population get negative interaction. Okay, that is actually a predation.